Boston Celtics fans, what is going on? On today's show, there's been a lot happening today, so we're just going to break down the overall deadline for the Boston Celtics because they were very active at the very end. And when I say very end, I mean 2 minutes to go. Brad Stevens loves to keep us on our toes. Very end of the NBA trade deadline, but they did make some small moves, I would say, that could have a big payout in the end. So nonetheless, go ahead and break down what happened here for the Boston Celtics during the NBA trade deadline. So what happened yesterday, just for a recap, was the Boston Celtics traded for Xavier Tillman. They're like, you know what? We're just going to skip all the drama. Brad Stevens obviously is in one for Flash. So he traded for Xavier Tillman yesterday, and he sent Lamar Stevens 2 second-round draft picks to the Memphis Grizzlies. Here's a trade right here, which I honestly loved. This allows Tillman to come in and be a backup wing, backup center, wherever they see fit. But this helps because Al Horford and Kristaps Porzingis have been doing this thing of sitting every other game. So now having Xavier Tillman and Luke Cornett splitting time could serve huge for the Boston Celtics. And I think that's a huge win overall, just to have some backup big man depth and just some rotation pieces because he's an excellent defender. He's a solid rotation player. He can defend big bigs in the NBA, and he's got playoff experience, which will be huge come April, May for the Boston Celtics. When you look at Tillman's stats, do not worry. They do not pop on paper, and that's okay. 40% from the field's not great, but a block is fantastic. 5 rebounds per game, I'll take it. 6 points, hey man, we've lost by 3. So it helps to have somebody come off the bench that can average at least 6. Because did you know Xavier Tillman is one of 14 players averaging at least a steal and a block, and he is the only player in the league to do so while playing under 25 minutes. This was the overall consensus that I got about Xavier Tillman, is that he's a defensive guy. I love defense. I think defense wins games. So my overall grade of the Xavier Tillman trade is going to be a B+. You did touch on your defensive assets. You touched on your rotation pieces. And you helped get a little bit bigger down low in the front court. So overall, I do really appreciate what Brad Stevens did to bring Tillman in. It's unfortunate to let somebody like Lamar Stevens go, as Jason Tatum was one of the first Boston Celtics players to come out saying, this is tough, man. We loved Lamar. But business is business, and Brad Stevens knows how to do business. Did Brad Stevens maximize his resources at the deadline? I'm asking you guys this just because it feels like we had 3 first-round draft picks, 6 second-round draft picks. I feel like we haven't even used a full $6.2 million trade player exception, which I'll break down here in just a few moments. So it's pretty interesting. I'm going to go with no, but I think he has a bigger plan for the Boston Celtics. While you guys are commenting down below, just go ahead and scroll up a little bit. If you guys are watching on a browser, scroll up a little bit. If you're watching on your phone, hit that sub button because, baby, it's free agency time and it's buyout market time. If the Celtics pick up anybody, which that could be Brad Stevens' plan, we are going to break it right here, live, VOD, whichever you guys need, and it's completely free. So go on ahead and hit that subscribe button for me while I break down the second move that did happen for the Boston Celtics. They traded for a youthful 21-year-old Philadelphia 76er, Jaden Springer. With 2 minutes left to go in the NBA trade deadline, Smitty and I are over here like, well, I guess Brad didn't really have anything up his sleeve. Yada, yada, yada. Boom. Jaden Springer to the Celtics. Well, once again, don't take much from his offensive stats. We did have 76ers Now by Chat Sports producer Chip come in here and kind of break down what Jaden Springer's game does bring. Offensively, Chip says he struggles confidently handling the basketball, but he only averages 11.8 minutes per game for the Sixers. So that confidence is going to come. The main thing here about Springer is he is an athletic defender, a big-time athletic defender, and he looks like a deer in the headlights on offense, like I said, but we're going to get over that. Peyton Pritchard has been notorious for dribbling down low, seeing one guy and dribbling back out, or hitting an outlet pass. So hopefully Joe can maximize the potential based on matchups, but we've seen Springer literally stuff Jason Tatum at the rim in the preseason. So I think that this is going to end up paying off big for the Boston Celtics in the rotation, but overall, I did give this a C+. Why? Because I personally would have liked another secondary scoring point guard to come in to really kind of help out with Peyton Pritchard as he's been inconsistent this season. But I do think that Jaden Springer's defense can fit really well in with the backcourt of Derek White and Drew Holiday. I think that could be something that you guys know. Joe Mazzulla loves keeping two starters in while he's going through this rotation. Well, if those two starters happen to be two defensive-minded players, there could be some magic happening. Go on ahead and answer this question for me. Will Jaden Springer crack the Celtics playoff rotation? Type P for play, type S for sit. It's going to be a little while. He is very young as well. He's 21 years old. He was a draft pick for the 76ers, but overall, type P for play, type S for sit. I have one more grade to give you guys, but until that happens, I do want to break down Prize Picks here on Celtics Today, the #1 daily fantasy sports app in America, because it's just so much fun to play. I play it all the time. What's better yet, I've won all the time. I've won 15 entries over $300 playing Prize Picks. I was playing this, Smitty was playing this way before they decided to hop on and be a sponsor for Celtics Today, because it's super easy. All you have to do is pick between 2 to 6 players. I have 3 here. Pick more or less on their projected stats. If you guys have caught on to how I play Prize Picks, I always go more. Life's too short. Pick the more. Patrick Mahomes to have more than 1 passing yard in the big game on Sunday, because Prize Picks has a promotion for 99% off his passing yards. They're handing you money on this one. Christian McCaffrey to have more than 90.5 rushing yards. Same thing for Isaiah Pacheco, but a little bit harder, 99.5 rushing yards. These are my Prize Picks, but I want to see yours. All you guys have to do is go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use promo code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100, and watch yourself win some real money in real time. Delano Banton, thank you for what you have done for the Boston Celtics, but you, my friend, are headed to the Portland Trailblazers. Portland Trailblazers in return for a second-round pick. And it was a top 55 protected pick. So here's why Brad Stevens is a genius when it comes to businesses, and why I'm very, very glad the C's have him as a GM is because they gave up Jaden Springer. They gave up a second-round pick to obtain Jaden Springer. Well, they pretty much got that second-round pick when they gave up Dalano Banton. So they really just traded player for player here with a couple different teams. Went, round your elbow to get to your ass type of thing. So nonetheless, Delano Banton was a garbage time point guard for the Boston Celtics. 2.3 points per game, 1.5 rebounds, 37% from the field, not that great. 12% from the three-point line. That is so ugly, I don't even want to look at it anymore. That is a horrible stat. But he's more of a locker room presence guy. Of course, he was a part of the Stay Ready group, which is what a lot of the bench players called themselves on the Celtics, because whenever Delano Banton came into the ballgame, he was scrappy. He played lights out, and that's something I did love about him. But overall, I give it a B- just because you do get a really good, heavily protected second-round pick for him. But overall, you gave up a pick to get a player, and it's just kind of back and forth. And, maybe if it was a first or something like that, I give it a higher grade. But I think B- is fine. When I got a B- brought home to my parents, I got a celebration. So maybe B- will be okay. But just one more recap here to what happened during the Celtics trade deadline. It took hours on February 8th for something to happen. Brad Stevens made these 2 trades in less than 2 minutes with the deadline approaching, and Xavier Tillman did happen yesterday. But overall, the Celtics did add 2 elite athletic defenders. Big men, 6'7" and 6'4". Maybe 6'4" is a little bit smaller on the NBA side, which is kind of crazy, but not much offense coming in. You saw their box scores. Hopefully, throughout the years, if they do decide to keep Jaden Springer, he'll be more confident on offense. But Xavier Tillman, 6 points per game, this isn't double digits. So these people are really coming in to play defense on the bench unit. And overall, I do like this trade. I like what Brad Stevens did. Could he have gone out and gotten a bigger name like a Sadiq Bey or an Andre Drummond? Sure, but Brad Stevens knows better than I do. That's why I never took business in school. So overall, grade the Boston Celtics 2024 trade deadline. My solid grade is going to be a B. I just think that it was a strategic move. I think you brought defense in, which the Celtics have struggled with in the past couple of games, and I think that this is going to help push the needle just a little bit in terms of the bench unit. But that's just my opinion. I do want to hear your opinions. Go ahead and grade the Boston Celtics 2024 trade deadline. Give me an A, B, C, D, or F. While you guys are doing that, go ahead and hit that sub button for me because the buyout market is now open territory, and so is free agency coming up. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you guys want to be in the know. Everything Boston Celtics for free.